Hello, friends. Welcome back to Value Vintage Cards. Today, I'm going to just kind of have some fun with the collection and break out um, some different sets, eras, kind of by player. Today will be a little thematic, but I wanted to just get your opinions. Um, I always like hearing when folks will say, like, I really like that, or that's one of my favorite cards, or I like how that one looks, or whatever the comment may be. I like when people identify what they like in the videos. Um, I'm probably guilty of not doing that as much. I'm trying to do that more, but makes it really interesting just to learn what other people find to be, fun or appealing or at least of interest to them. So, what I wanted to do today was share. I think I've got 7 pairs, kind of from decades of sorts, and just get some feedback. So, if you would, I would love to see comments filled up with maybe which ones you like better. If you want to do all 7, cool. If you just want to pick a couple and say, I really like that card and that card, it just is kind of fun. I mean, there's no reason I'm not getting rid of any of them. I'm not looking to do anything with it. It's just, I think it's really fun and interesting to see where people tend to gravitate towards. So I'm going to get kicking. Early 1900s, so the 1900s era, or decade, I guess we could say. Um, the 2 I picked, I thought I'd go with something really classic. T206, Napoleon, Nap Lajoie. So with a portrait version. Or are you drawn more towards something like this? The E92. Now, some of these were like eras. They're really like a 2 or 3 year production, just like the T206. So really, it's kind of cheating, and this one as well. I believe most of these had multi-year runs in this era, it seems, but um, they're Nap Lajoie. Obviously, I like both because I have both, so I'm not trying to influence anybody. Just curious where you all fall. So, portrait, classic T206, or a little bit of a posed E92 Lajoie. Next group, do you like something like a Tom Barker card? I feel like these either folks dislike them because they're a playing deck of cards look. There's your Tom Barker, Ed Walsh. Or would you be drawn more towards something maybe even oversized? Would you prefer your Ed Walsh to be in team photo format? The other thing I tried to do, other than just matching players and era for this one, was to match somewhat value. So it's not going to be, a $10,000 card versus a $80 card. They're at least within realm of each other. You could find you know, conditions that would match up. But this would be your Fatima Chicago White Sox, which has several players on it that you would know, even if you are not a White Sox collector per se. There are definitely several players on there. Um, Doc White, Ed Walsh, Ray Schalk, I believe, is on here. If I remember right. Yeah, Ray Schalk's on there. Eddie Seacott. So there's several players in there. I think Hal Chase is in that picture too. So some people love Fatima, some people probably don't do team cards. So curious where y'all fall on that. Next pair, I think, are 2 of the better looking for this player, and both are with the White Sox, although that's not necessarily where he's most noted. Um, but I think this is 2 of his better looking cards. I'm kind of curious where people fall on this. E121. What I tend to like is you get such a full picture, and having images of the players is just fantastic for that era. So I like that a lot. I like the E121 set a lot. The other one of the other sets in that era that there's two E120 and this Nielsen's chocolate that I have, but I feel like a lot of folks enjoy that ornate border. So there's another option. So if you want to go Harry Hooper, it's one of them swinging, so a little more of an action shot, a little less posed, but that ornate border is what folks tend to be drawn to. So if that's catching your attention, that would be the Nielsen chocolate version. 30s, I pulled two sets that I think are both pretty popular right now. First would be the U.S. Caramel, 1932. So 32 and 33 had such a run of amazing sets. Break out the Bill Dickey. Um, those also have fantastic backs to them. But pretty solid likeness, amazing vibrant colors. U.S. Caramel, fairly tough to find as well. Or going back to oversized, do you prefer something like a Warsh postcard size? Um, it's a 33 Warsh cigar, staying Bill Dickey, full size, again, more of like a real image. Um, so kind of real image versus an artistic, pretty good likeness of the players. So compare that for the actual Dickey or compare it for the sets, however you want to look at that. But I'm curious which way you guys go. 40s, I'm going to go classic showdown here. Sorry, my cats are going insane. Um, which do you like better? Let's go head to head mode. 40 or 41. So if you go 1940, you get the black and white image. Fox is interesting. Look at his jersey. So Boston, I mean, obviously it's a very classic Jimmy Fox image. That pose, that picture, all, that's very, very famous and popular and iconic for the Jimmy Fox collectors. This one, nearly the exact same, except they made his jersey just a B. So they took off the whole Boston and just made it a B. But the rest of that basically is the exact same image. So, do you like the uh, little touched up color, or do you like the pure black and white image? So, 40 or 41 play ball. 50s, going to jump in and give you two choices. Would you prefer a classic? It's funny because when I was a kid, I probably didn't know this existed. But I feel like at this point now, we're kind of calling this like almost a classic musial. Um, so if you've been collecting for the last couple decades, you're probably more aware of this. Thank you, larger card shows, uh, online chats, and eBay and things like that. Now most of us know this exists. Um, so 54 Red Heart, Stan Musial. Again, vibrant colors. I feel like colors draw a lot of folks in. Or very next year, 55, still vibrant. It's a little bit different color interpretation. So Red Hearts obviously is a run of various players. The Rawlings is a box top that is all Stan Musial. So I went with another one that was similar grade, probably similar value, somewhere in that ballpark. So for you, if you were offered one or the other, or had to pick and make a pickup, um, or do you have one in your collection because you like it better? So always curious. And then in the '60s, I'd go with a player I've been adding a bit in recent times. So we got a bazooka, Not all bazookas are made equally. So, with one that I think is somewhat available, none of the bazookas are, you know, overproduced, but some years are much easier to find than others. So, Hank Aaron, 66, 67, credited as being that one. A nice image, nice card. Or would you rather go with something like that? So, Transagram, late 60s, early 70s, you find a lot of these neat little side sets. Um, Came on boxes, came in, interesting distributions, but Transagram's definitely one that's growing in popularity. I think bazookas kind of are too, maybe, um, at least certain years. But there's the Hank Transagram. So, just to recap in reverse order, since that'll be easier. When you go 60s Hank Aaron's, what do you think's what's your preference, bazooka or Transagram? When you go 50s Musial, where do you lean? Do you go Red Heart or do you like Rawlings? When you go 40s Classic Showdown, do you prefer the 40 or the 41 play ball? When you go 30s, it's a tough one. Man, talk about one I would pick both. um, do you go Warsh Cigar or do you go US Caramel? It's a tough one. Man, I go both. Obviously, I've gone both on all these because I have them both. When you go in the 20s and you need a Harry Hooper, do you prefer one that is going to be a full size image or one that's going to have a bit of a ornate design and border to it? Um, I'm sure does wash out, and actually in person sometimes these can be faded pretty badly. So make sure I rep my border Hooper a little bit better there. Which Hooper do you prefer? When we go in the 1910s, are you going to go with a team issue Fatima, or do you like playing cards to get your Ed Walsh fix? So Tom Barker in this case, Fatima or Tom Barker. And then to kick us off, we went with a classic tobacco versus caramel. Which way do you like your Nap Way? Colorful pose or classic portrait? So E92 versus T206 in this case. So I just thought it'd be fun. Hold some cards, looking at them side by side. Obviously, I like both for all these, but I love seeing people's opinions. So please share. Always curious to see what folks like, and you know, blast the comments if you would. I definitely appreciate seeing that. And yeah, if you have anything else that you think is worth comparing, share that. I might do a few more of these in the future just to keep having some fun. It's a neat way to look at the collection and kind of pull some things and look at them side by side. So it's been fun. I'll catch up with you all on the next video. Take care.